The Crusades, a war of faith, power and gold. Imagine a time when the cry of Deus vult, God wills it, echoed across Europe, not as a whisper of prayer but as a call to arms. A time when kings, popes, knights and peasants alike journeyed thousands of miles, driven not just by faith, but by power, gold and glory. This is not just a story of religion, it is a story of ambition, betrayal and centuries of war. This is the story of the Crusades, the call to war. The year is 1095. Pope Urban II, speaking to a massive crowd in Clermont, France, delivers a message that would change the world. Go to the aid of your brothers in the East. Take back Jerusalem from the infidels. The First Crusade had begun. What followed was an unprecedented wave of enthusiasm, knights polishing their swords, commoners abandoning their homes, banners raised high in the name of Christ. But this wasn't only about saving souls. For many, it was an opportunity to claim land, to seek riches, to escape a life of poverty or shame. And so, tens of thousands marched toward the Holy Land, not knowing what horrors awaited them. Blood and crosses, the First Crusade. By 1099, the Crusaders reached Jerusalem. After a brutal siege, the city fell, and what followed was a massacre. Men, women, children, Muslim and Jewish residents of the city, slaughtered in what chroniclers called a river of blood. One crusader wrote that horses were wading through blood up to their knees. Jerusalem was liberated, but at a terrible cost. A Christian kingdom was established in the Holy Land, and back in Europe the success was hailed as divine proof of righteousness. But the fires of war had only just been lit. Clash of kings and sultans. In the decades that followed, more crusades were launched. Some were led by kings, like Richard the Lionheart of England, a warrior king, charismatic and fierce. His opponent, the brilliant Muslim leader Saladin, who recaptured Jerusalem in 1187. Their battle during the Third Crusade became legendary, a clash of titans bound by honor and strategy more than hatred. But diplomacy could only go so far. Even children were sent on crusades. In the tragic and misguided Children's Crusade, thousands of young souls marched and never returned. The darker side, greed and politics. Not all crusades were fought for holy purpose. In 1204, the Fourth Crusade took a shocking turn. Instead of Jerusalem, the Crusaders sacked Constantinople, a Christian city. They looted churches, stole relics, and tore apart the Byzantine Empire, all in the name of God but driven by gold and power. The Pope was horrified, but the damage was done. The Crusades had become a weapon, not of faith alone, but of politics and greed, the end and the legacy. By the late 13th century, the last Crusader strongholds fell. The dream of a permanent Christian kingdom in the Holy Land faded into dust, but the legacy of the Crusades endured. New trade routes, new cultural exchanges, a deep scar between religions still felt today. For over 200 years, the Crusades shaped Europe, the Middle East and the world. A war begun in the name of faith, fueled by power, and often driven by the gleam of gold. The Crusades were not a single war, but a tidal wave of ambition and belief crashing against the shores of history. Were they a holy mission, a political campaign, or simply a gold rush disguised as righteousness? One thing is certain. When men go to war for God, they often discover more about themselves, and not all of it divine.